It's time once again for another episode of Co-Founders Radio. Broadcasting live from the Pro Business Channel studios in Atlanta. And now, here's your host, Rich-Casanova.
And Craig Williams. I don't know why that guy always just talks about me. Yeah, we got to fix that.
That's quite all right, man. I like the personal introduction every time.
So, Craig Williams, man, are we just setting things on fire here or what?
Exciting.
Well, you used to a former fireman, right?
Once a fireman,
that's right.
always.
Yeah.
Just not active right now.
Okay, yeah.
Don't want to be
hopefully,
active.
hopefully not
exactly.
during this show. Yeah,
there you go.
But speaking of sparks and fire, that's what's going on here in the studio.
EnviroSpark.
We got the gentleman from the whole team here, I think, or the core.
Not the whole team,
but the core.
Some of the anchor there.
Yeah. No offense to the other team members. Yeah. All right, so EnviroSpark is here in the studio, Pro Business Channel Studios here in Buckhead with our $1 Million View, and this show being brought to you in part by WeWork, the world's largest space to make your business happen. And I think they're in 70 markets, 6 countries.
There you go. And counting.
And counting. And they just added Atlanta to the map. So let's get things underway and do the formal introduction. So, Aaron, if you want to introduce your folks here joining us in the studio and what everybody does at EnviroSpark.
Sure. Thanks so much, Craig, Rich. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here. I'm Aaron Luque with EnviroSpark. I'm the founder and CEO. We're a premier provider and installer of electric vehicle charging stations here in Atlanta and the Southeast. With me here today from my team, I have our Director of Business Development, Daniel Bullock, and I also have Worrell Thomas, who's with our commercial and residential sales division. So that's pretty much the intro. Anything else you want to know about us before we get going here?
Let's find out a little about your background. What were you doing before you start causing sparks to fly around the city?
Sure. So I actually had a background in sustainability. So I went to Georgia Tech. That's where I met my wife. I actually started a recycling company that I've been running for about 10 years. I still own half of that company. And then a few years ago, started off a general conversation with the wife about electric vehicles. And we looked at it and we're like, this is really cool. This company, Tesla, is amazing. This guy, Musk, really is exciting.
He's got something.
He's got a lot going on.
Right.
And it was really inspirational for me, because I care so much about sustainability and to see what he was doing in this space, it was kind of a natural extension for me to want to do something more beyond just the recycling angle that I've been doing. I looked at a few different things. I was thinking about maybe getting into, LED, but there were already a lot of people doing that, so I didn't think it would add as much value as getting into something where there was more of a need for somebody to really go out and promote and make people more aware of the benefits. Because what I realized is, just talking to more people about the benefits of electric vehicles is one of the main ways to help promote the growth of it. I mean, once people find out all the benefits that are beyond just the basic, that's for hippies or tree lovers or whatever. There's so many more benefits beyond just the environmental impact or even, some of the other things like the fact that they have no maintenance and the benefits that they give you here in the state and federally. So, I really dug in and said, what would it take to really build electric transportation here in Atlanta, and how could I do my part? And so that's where I found that really there was a need for this infrastructure for people to be able to charge electric vehicles. The main problem that people have is they're scared that they won't be able to fill back up. It's called range anxiety.
What's it called?
Range anxiety.
Okay.
So that's the term for it.
I have that about there's not a bar close enough to home or whatever. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, you gotta.
I'm in panic. Is there another bar? Because this one's good, but I need a backup.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so you really have to. People really had to either want to support it and be diligent about their routes, or it just wasn't worth the effort at the time. And, since I've started the company, I've really, I'm proud to say that we've installed hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of stations, across multiple states now. And it's really exciting to see the growth of the market and how it's helping connect people here in Atlanta and grow electric transportation in general. So we're really excited to be a part of it. And, Daniel and Worrell have been here pretty much since day one. They've been helping me grow it and help generate the awareness. And we do everything that we can to try and educate people about it, and then also if they want to actually have something put in at their office or their workplace or even at home, we're happy to help them see what a solution might look like for them and really try to customize it. So that's kind of the long and short of it, I guess.
All right.
So.
We got some over there at Tower Place, right?
I hope so. If not,
If
real
not,
quick,
we're going to
yeah,
have to get you all over there for sure. Tell us a little bit about the inception. When did EnviroSpark start? What year and date?
Sure. Well, I guess it was a little over 2 years ago, and we'd already been talking about it, and I'd been looking at it and doing a lot of research, long before that, trying to figure out what my next venture was going to be in the sustainability space and where was there a need. But, I guess officially we started, I think it was 2014, maybe.
fourth quarter or something? Or?
Yeah, it was right around fourth quarter, and then we really started ramping up first quarter of 2015. So I guess it's almost been 2 years now.
Because I know we had y'all in previously on an early episode, and so it's always
On the
interesting.
Buckhead. They were on the Buckhead Business Show.
And it's a pleasure to be back. You
I'm
guys are
telling you,
great.
yeah. Now you're the new launch show, the Co-founders-podcast, and this is where it's very interesting, the growth and the expansion and how teams work together. You mentioned commercial installation, and that's where I think Worrell comes in, right? Is because obviously our middle name is business, so for business folks listening, they have an establishment. Who's on the short list, or how do you go about that process?
As far as commercial projects?
Yeah.
Okay, so we Daniel and myself on the commercial side like to tag team or do it separately, of course. Reach out to a lot of the buildings here in Buckhead, in the city, and just kind of see their needs for charging stations. See if they have any current tenants that have charging stations, and a lot of times we'll find that they do, and then they'll see how important it is to have it and provide that amenity for them.
Yeah, Daniel, what's a pushback or a challenge that you come across in contacting those folks?
I think the biggest pushback we get right now is if it's an apartment, for example, none of my residents have electric vehicles. Why do I need to get charging stations? Right. Or if it's an office building, none of my tenants have electric vehicles.
Apparently, they're not looking in the parking lot. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it's coming. We finished a project recently for Post Properties, and I think we may have spoken about it last time. But we put in stations at all 15 of their locations, and a big reason they did it was simply to attract all the electric vehicle drivers.
Yeah,
correct. And so a lot of their properties didn't even have electric vehicle drivers. But they just put it in because they saw what was coming and as a way to bring in more business.
Somewhere between 75 and 100 stations across all the properties. So anybody that lives at Post Property here in Atlanta can fill up an electric vehicle for free. They're never paying for fuel ever again. And they never have oil changes. They can use the occupancy lanes for free. They don't pay tolls for the Peach Pass.
I forgot about that one. Even if you have a single person,
you can ride solo in the occupancy lane. So there's a lot of good benefits.
People throw around the word disruptor a lot, but this is it. This is really
certainly.
I mean, you can't get much closer when you talk about from a business standpoint. If you are in the Atlanta Apartment Association, so 400 some odd members, and then I'm shopping for an apartment, and geez, if I can be a resident here and really, it's like if they gave you free fuel or gas for the year.
As long as you live there. Yep, that's correct. It's pretty exciting stuff.
Big time. And so who landed that deal? Who made that phone call, made that happen? Yeah.
It was Daniel and myself, and we also did it through, Georgia Power and Nissan Motors also helped to fund the project. So I think combined Georgia Power and Nissan helped donate $109,000 to help make the project, the Atlanta project, happen for Post. Since then, actually, this week we've got we're starting to do some of the other properties for Post as well outside of Atlanta. So we're doing Maryland, Tampa, Orlando, and they're continuing to make this part of their eco-active initiative that they're doing, which is basically trying to make all of their properties greener. To add more value for their residents.
You mentioned Nissan, and I also know you have a relationship with Tesla, correct?
Correct. Well, we do a lot of residential installations. So when people buy a Tesla, Georgia is kind of our territory with them right now. So when people in Georgia buy a Tesla, they will contact us, and Worrell or Daniel or one of our representatives will help take care of them and figure out the best way to power their Tesla. Because if
Yeah.
If something isn't put in, it would take them, 2 days or so to refill it just by plugging it into a wall.
Right, yeah.
Because the battery size is so big. So you need something a little bit quicker, like 3-4 hours, which is what we'll put in.
Yeah, that's why I didn't pick you up, Craig, this morning with my Tesla or whatever. Yeah, it was
No worries,
charged for 48 hours.
I got to ask, did you guys, between the last time we came in and this time, have you guys thought any more about getting electric vehicles?
Oh, dude, every week.
So what's you pulled the trigger yet or what?
Well, I walk, so I, as long as these legs are working, and I'm less than a block away, But now that I have to walk over to Tower Place, I'm going to be at the head of that to make sure we have outlets in the parking deck before I go get one.
Well, and side note as well on the commercial side, it was a cool statistic. I think Nissan did the research, if I'm not mistaken, which said that basically people are 20 times more likely to purchase an electric vehicle if they have a charging station at the workplace that they can use. And so this is really exciting for us because we've done some big workplace initiatives lately to help try and promote more workplace charging and things like that.
When you talk about a statistic, I mean, that was reality. That was my story exactly about a year or so ago. Is I live in a high-rise in Sandy Springs, and I was actually shopping for electric vehicle. The Volt was kind of cool because it was a little bit, not a hybrid, but it had a backup, right?
Right.
And I looked at several others, the Nissan, the Leaf, and so forth. And I was like, I love the idea. Then I got home, and I'm like, okay, we're going to.
We didn't have one here at the studio.
There's none at the building at the studio here. There was none at the high-rise condos. And I thought, well, I was going to run a power cord 15 stories down to the parking deck. I didn't think that was a very good plan.
Well, I think timing is great now since we had the upgrade downstairs.
Yeah.
And the underground parking here is available.
Upgrade.
I'm sure there's a possibility to have a conversation, revisit that conversation.
We'll put you in touch with
management
Lincoln
here.
Properties because they own multiple spaces where the Atlanta Journal or Atlanta Business Chronicle is located, properties all throughout. Speaking of that, so not transition, but on that topic. So commercial, we mentioned the apartments.
Yeah.
What about other commercial developments on your short list in the pipeline or people you'd want to reach out to? Or
Yeah, we're working a lot now with hotels as well because Tesla has an awesome program called the Tesla Destination Charging Program, and they will actually provide charging stations for free as well as cover a portion of the installation cost. And it's it has to be a qualified hotel, typically a little bit higher end.
Right.
So there's a lot of hotels actually even here in Buckhead that have already gone through that program, and so we're helping a lot of others, especially down in Florida right now. Get some charging stations pretty much completely covered.
Well, we need, if you're not already in touch, we should put you in touch with. We've had him in the studio. Well, it's been a while, but the was it the Georgia Hotel and Lodging Association? Mm-hmm. And they have I went to an event. I was invited to speak at their Buckhead. They have their own chapter right here in Buckhead, and they move it around to different hotels. But dang, again, if you in your business, right, you have to have the USP, unique selling proposition, or something like Craig was saying, the amenities above and beyond. So if I'm online booking my hotel and I'm an electric vehicle driver, I'm thinking this guy has it, the guy doesn't.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Well, and Tesla owners will actually check Tesla's destination charging website to locate a hotel where they can charge their Tesla for free with participating partners and things like that. So it's very much a part of the route. And even people without Teslas who are planning their routes will typically use an app. It's called PlugShare. You can just download it through the App Store, also plugshare.com. And you can kind of see where the different charging stations are. And there's also a lot of fast chargers kind of coming along now. The ones that'll get a car almost all the way full in 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Georgia Power is doing a lot to put those in. I think their goal is to have 50 in by the end of this year. I'm not sure, or is it next year? Daniel, do you remember?
It's supposed to be by the end of this year.
Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure if they're going to get to all 50, but that's in the works, and that's exciting because they're putting it in strategic locations that will help people get from point A to point B. And you don't have to stop for a really long time in order to be able to charge your vehicle. So it really helps with planning the route to know that you can also get a quick charge if you have to, and you're in a bit more of a hurry and you don't want to stop somewhere for 3-4 hours or wait till you get home. That there are options like that, and there's more of those coming along as well.
Gotcha. So talk to us about your business model as far as you mentioned these quick charge units. I think we talked about it before, but just update us if there's any updates or just refresh us.
Yeah, I can tell you the basics of our model and kind of what makes us a little bit different is that we try to basically we don't have one size fits all solution. So it's really about knowing everything about electric transportation and charging stations and what can do what, and then kind of marrying that with the customer's needs. So because there are companies out there that make great products, they make really great charging stations. But if you call them up and you say, "Hey, I'm interested in charging stations," that company is going to tell you why their charging station is the best for you, because we distribute for a lot of different companies,
you do.
And then we also put them in, so we can provide and install them. We'll really go out and kind of nail down what does a customer really want to do with the system, and then kind of quote it based on those needs. Because we don't want to. The last thing I'd ever want to do is sell somebody something they don't need. But at the same time, if they're thinking about scaling for the future, they want to have some sort of functionality that maybe they may not still need right now. We can still talk about it and see if they want to add it. And we try to marry all those things into one package and really turnkey it for them in a way that, because what I don't want to do is just go, okay, here's your stations, have fun. We another sale. Let's check out I want people to use the stations. I want them to enjoy them, and I want it to be the right fit for the people that we're doing business with. Which is why no two solutions really look the same. I mean, even at a residential level, and we're kind of broken up into commercial and residential, and then different types of charging. Workplace, multifamily. There's all different ways to slice it. And each demographic there has its own set of needs about what they need from a charging solution. And so, I make it our goal and everybody on the team's goal to know everything that's available out there and how it can kind of add value for people that are interested.
Well, that's definitely consistent with the culture that you come from in sustainability. You have to consider the client as a co-founder. And I want to jump back to last year when you were in the studio, we talked about some of the incentives that were being lost coming into the new year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And, that was, but there are still some available. So
they're dwindling.
They're dwindling.
We've had to call people back who were expecting to get money from certain entities that had pledged, hey, we might be able to put this towards the project or that. And, we said, but you need to, if it's something you want to make sure you get, let's go ahead and move. And then later on we'll get a call, hey, we want to go ahead and do that. And then I have to call them back and say, well, the money's not there from this particular entity that you thought you were going to get funds from or whatever. The good news is, till the end of the year, at least the federal government is giving a 30% credit.
Wow, really?
So, whatever you spend, you can at least knock off $30,000 through a federal tax credit. And then there's still some.
Is it 30,000 or 30%?
Sorry, 30%.
Yeah.
Sorry,
just want to make sure.
That's on
up
the
to
Tesla.
up
I mean,
to
'cause, hey,
well, that's on
up
your
to 30,000.
it can
right?
be 30,000
on your $100,000 Tesla, whatever. Yeah.
So it would be
30,000. Yeah.
And that's off of the cost of the installation and the equipment. So it's
Really?
pretty good stuff. And then on
the
top of that, there's a state credit as well. And then Georgia Power is still funding various projects for people on their power lines, different amounts depending on the size of the project.
Well, those are great numbers, and it's great to take advantage of that. But even with that not in play, the long-term savings, and like you opened at the top of the show, of the fuel, the less moving parts, the maintenance, all that is long-term.
And that's along the lines of their sustainability model, and that's through and through for them.
Sure, and it's and those are kind of some of the more well-known things, right?
Yeah.
The environmental impact. Atlanta has a huge smog problem, so the more people drive, or the less people driving combustion vehicles, the less we're going to have these smog. I think we had one today, like a smog alert.
Well, that was just right here in the studio, when Craig walked in,
And so that's one of the obvious things, right?
Wow.
But even beyond that, and this is what I think is so exciting and so much less known that people don't really think about, is that I know that every time, and people buy electric vehicles for all sorts of reasons, right?
Yeah.
But I know that every time I fill up with electricity, that my money is going to support a local utility. So and there's no oil and gas companies at all based here out of Georgia, at least to my knowledge. So every time I fill up with electricity, my money's going to a utility. That utility hires a local worker.
Right.
That local worker, will go and spend money locally at a restaurant or a store. That store or restaurant hires a local worker that is paid with that money that then goes and spends money locally. So think about how many times that money is recycled.
Right.
And my background is recycling, so it's
and
exciting.
sustainability, yeah.
But think about how many times that money will cycle over and stay here and support our not only our economy, but also our energy independence, as a state, a city, state, and as a nation, by not making us dependent on oil. So, I think from an economic standpoint, it's really exciting because that money will continue to get recycled here in the state versus when you fill up with gas, basically the majority of the money is leaving the state, possibly some of it even the country, to support foreign oil and never to return. So, I think that's a really exciting part of this. And I think the more people that realize those benefits, beyond just the environmental impact and the benefit of not having any service, or because that's the other cool thing is there's no oil changes, no brake changes,
no transmission,
no transmission.
That's mind-boggling. So, when I first heard that, I'm like, well, you better check one more time because I think I need a transmission in here.
And I'll clarify. I say no brake changes. I think it's at like 120,000 miles or something like that. You may have to change the brakes.
And some of them, they charge the batteries by the brake movement or whatever, right?
Yeah, it's regenerative braking. So you can actually add a few extra miles to your trip or your charge capacity by...
stand on the
people
brake.
Call it basically driving with one foot, but
Flintstones. I'm out there pedaling.
As you let off the gas, the car will automatically slow down very quickly, and so it's a little bit unnerving at first if you've never driven an electric car before.
And it's so quiet too, man. You can't hear these things.
Yeah.
There's like that TV commercial, right? You've probably seen where the guy's like sneaking out, whatever. Yeah.
Well, that's what I said. Yeah. Now back in the day when kids snuck out, you had to put it neutral, and you had to get a bunch of people, and you had to roll it.
You're just making it easy all the way around. Yeah.
Win-win-win.
Yeah.
And it's also, I hope the gangsters never find out about them either, because you could creep up on somebody for a drive-by, and they'd never even hear you coming.
Yeah. So Daniel and Worrell, talk to us about what's a good day look like for you guys when you're out there making business happen for EnviroSpark.
Yeah, a good day would be meeting with a few prospects, whether hotel, apartment, office building, things like that. Kind of going over what everyone's saying, just talking to them about their needs, what they're looking for in a station, and then going ahead and put together a proposal based on what they want. And then we do a lot of networking as well, so that's included. So we try to do as much networking as we can.
I think we see you guys at every Buckhead business breakfast, whatever.
Or event, the after-hours events as well. Yeah. They're members and very active.
Yeah.
So how do you find your folks, Worrell, besides maybe networking, or how do you make contacts? Do you do any cold calling, knocking on the doors, or do you go out there and ever let
electric cars?
No, do you ever take the siphon and siphon people's gas out of their car or whatever? Yeah,
not gas, but energy.
No, but then you need electric car because apparently your gas one's not running. Yeah.
So definitely cold calls, and we try to build some strategic relationships with a lot of property managers because they may not need it at their property, but know someone else who might need it. But I would say the best part is just really talking about it. We always have a crowd of people around us, just kind of want to know about it, and it's general excitement. So
Are you guys a member of the Atlanta Apartment Association?
Correct.
We are.
I figured. That's kind of a given.
Yeah, we're just coming off the expo. I think that was last week.
Show,
right?
yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Which is maybe we're almost out of time. Maybe one of the final questions, just roundtable. So, what about partnerships? I think Craig, you were talking about that earlier. Like, who do y'all align with? Is there
ideally what would you be looking for to add to that list?
Sure.
Besides the Pro Business Channel and having your own show right here,
our good friends at the Pro Business Channel.
Nice. We need to do one of those sound drops or whatever, right? Yeah. Aaron says this about Pro Business Channel.
No, we. I mean, really, we're always looking for anybody who's interested in helping support our mission, which is growing electric transportation here in Atlanta and abroad, but. Really, the people that have been most supportive, I think, are the auto manufacturers that are really starting to get on board and wanting to help promote this type of technology. And then also, the local utilities have been very forthcoming as well in wanting to help promote this because there's obviously a benefit in there for them too. I mean, they're going to be growing their demand for electricity. Also, a lot of people charge at night. Which actually kind of, if you know anything about power, and I don't know a whole lot, but if you know about the way that power distribution is done, apparently it's very costly to ramp up during peak hours, during the day, and then scale back down and then ramp back up and then scale down. If it was more consistent, it would actually create a lot of efficiencies that would help would help power generation be more more effective and more efficient, and ultimately, hopefully, keep those costs down so that they don't go up, or maybe even provide benefit. I know a lot of the utilities, especially Georgia Power, I think maybe Walton EMC or Jackson EMC, I'm not sure which one, and maybe a few others are giving people a discounted power rate. Just
after hours, off peak,
for having an electric vehicle and charging at night. And you can actually, the cool thing about electric vehicles is you can set them on when to charge, so you can actually just program it and say, hey, don't start charging until this time, make sure you're done by this time. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do with the app beyond just turn it on, turn my AC on, or honk the horn, or do whatever other cool stuff you want to do through your cell phone.
So there's an app where you can honk your horn, as opposed to pushing the horn.
Well, I'm talking
remotely.
about say you can't find it in a garage or something, and you can't remember. Especially people like me who have a hard time remembering where they parked. You can turn on the alarm just through the app, or you can at least get the AC going so it's cool when you get in. Those kind of cool things. So.
Now I think we are almost out of time. But what about alignments like with green energy type companies? Like we had some folks in that did the big LED, huge commercial projects, whatever, right? Any kind of collaboration with groups that are playing in your same sandbox?
Yeah, we have a few alliances with companies that do, who are more specialized in, say, LED or solar. Because we get asked to do stuff like that because we're already doing charging stations, and it's something we can do. I mean, our guys are certified electricians. We can switch light bulbs out. We can,
can
put
do that,
solar.
Warrell?
We can put solar. Well, our technicians, Warrell's getting there. But at the end of the day, that's stuff we can do. But our mission is actually to promote charging infrastructure. So sometimes, if it's something that we don't want to take on because we're trying to still continue promoting electric vehicles and things like that. You can be a
resource for that.
We will help, push business along, or use those strategic alliances with other companies that can provide those services. Where we could do it, but honestly, that's their specialty, and just the way that charging stations is ours.
Because you guys are not getting in the radio business, right? So we're good. Yeah,
not yet. We're looking at it.
Yeah. So what's next? Finally, this is our last question for the episode on Co-Founders Podcast. What's next for y'all?
Well, for us, it's expansion, both locally, and regionally. Increasing the number of charging stations that are out there to get more people comfortable with buying charging stations, but also making more than just an impact here in Atlanta, but really trying to do something regionally. And we're already starting to see that kind of outside of Atlanta, but to continue that growth, as well as, putting infrastructure in here in Atlanta, because, we're at a good spot right now, and it's a fast growing city, but I think that there's still more demand to be had, and so we need to continue growing that infrastructure here, as well as trying to get more stuff, and especially connecting cities, really stuff in between kind of the major cities to help people be more comfortable with kind of inner city traveling with an electric. And now the ranges are getting a lot bigger, and that's something we didn't even touch on, which I wish we could have, especially vehicles like the Tesla Model 3. Have you guys looked at that at all?
Oh yeah.
You saw it? It's $1,000. Just real quick plug. $1,000 for fully refundable.
That's the first pun. Man, we lasted a long time.
I tried.
We almost made it a whole show.
We'll do a pun show next time.
I'll be here all week. But it's $1,000 fully refundable, and you can get in line for a Tesla Model 3. But the cool thing about the vehicle is that it's only $35,000. That's before incentives, 200-something mile range, all the cool Tesla amenities, including the autopilot, which is like, it'll kind of drive you. So you could go, from here to Seattle, not have to pay a dime, because Tesla you can destination charge for free, and the car will drive you. So, there's a lot of cool benefits to it. You can get in line, and you'll probably see the car in 3-4 years. Right. Just because there's 400,000 people already in front of you, which is $400 million for them, and billions once it converts. It's an exciting time for the industry and for Tesla.
For Elon.
Exactly. Yeah.
My mind's just spinning 100 miles an hour just hearing some of those stats that I hadn't thought about. But I was going to mention that we think that Tesla, that six-figure car, 100,000, but they're entering a whole new space, right?
Well, it's a 30, and then all the other vehicles in that same space are getting more efficient as well, and getting better ranges. The Leaf has gotten a significant upgrade on the range. The i3, Chevy's got the Bolt that's going to have a 200-mile range that should be out by the end of the year. So lots of exciting stuff coming down. And the Tesla, I mean, the S fully souped up is still just one of the coolest cars out there, just because it's faster than Ferraris, and it's like in the top 5 or 6 fastest cars 0 to 60 in the world.
Yeah, and I hear that's what every salesman gets, whatever part, right?
Yeah, they're still negotiating hard for that.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And I had another thought I was going to ask you about, but I guess we're out of time, but we definitely want to put in a plug for your your company. How would folks reach out to you?
Yeah, I think the best way to reach us would just be, it's our website's very intuitive, so it's EnviroSparkEnergy.com. Anybody that's interested in learning more or getting a free quote can just go to our website and fill out the form. It's basically just contact information, and we'll come out and do a free evaluation, kind of talk about needs, maybe prepare a solution for you. You can also follow us on any of our social media pages, so Twitter, Facebook, the works, LinkedIn. So, and
just want to remind you again, I'm available for the opening of the Maui office whenever you're ready to.
We're working on that as well. Yeah.
All right, so gentlemen, it was a pleasure having you back in the studio and on one of the first episodes here for the Co-Founders podcast. We want to thank our media partner WeWork as they expand into Atlanta, into the market as well. Rich-Casanova, on behalf of Craig Williams, we'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining Rich Casanova and his guests on the Pro Business Channel. Use the social media links here to share today's show and stay tuned for the next episode of Co-Founders Radio.